Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Chats with Chelsi. Today is going to be a great day because I have Dr. Faith Wilkerson here with me in the Chats with Chelsi studio, and we're going to be talking all things faith. So I hope you're ready to learn about her journey, her work. So join me in welcoming Dr. Faith.
I think I like that, all things faith. I have to put it in the pocket.
We're talking about you today. This is about you. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Faith, let's jump in. You live here now in Richmond. You moved here in 2000. What brought you here?
VCU. So I am a 3-time VCU grad. And yeah, I came here to go to school and never left. So I'm from New York. Finished out my last 3 years of high school in Newport News. So I have my family, my mom and my brother are still there. So kind of coming to Richmond was kind of a happy middle ground.
Okay.
To kind of, make mom not feel too depressed if I went anything too far. But far enough, as kids, we just kind of want our freedom. And so coming to VC was kind of the middle ground. My grandparents are also here. So that kind of, helped kind of reconnect some things that I had lost because we had, so much distance between us. But yeah, so, 2019, so 19 years later.
19 years later. Well, what's one of your favorite things about Richmond?
I think the evolution, which is a huge thing, but it's the core thing. I think that's allowed me to be okay with staying here, being excited about, I guess, every day, like, what are we going to do today? Is it a concert? Is it a play? Is it a food festival? Are we going to try out some new beer? You know what I mean? Whatever that may be. So I think I liked being able to live in this bubble that was VCU because I think anyone, like some of your other guests you're going to talk to later on this season, they've been here their whole life, and they'll tell you they never would have imagined living in Richmond as an adult. Because, as back in the day, Richmond is not what you see today. And so when I was at VCU, I loved Richmond. You couldn't tell me anything, but I was in this VCU bubble. So it was, the homecomings and the home.
And you helped plan those different things.
Right. So yeah, I was just making my own.
You helped run VCU from what I read. I mean,
But I was making my own fun. And so for me, it was like that piece of Richmond was my oyster. So I was kind of able to do whatever I wanted. And so it was different for me. So when I graduated, I then started working at VCU full time, so it still became the same bubble because I'm now
minority affairs.
Yeah, multicultural student affairs is
Okay.
what I started doing. That was my longest stint after I finished working in student activities. But yeah, so Richmond became cool because in my bubble, what I was doing was cool.
Right.
And then eventually, when I just kind of branched out and moved into Henrico County and all that good jazz, I just started seeing more things for me to do that was outside of the bubble. So it became pretty cool.
So, I mean, you just ran VCU, and so you worked there, you went to school there, and then what did you do after you were there in Multicultural Affairs?
Yeah, so the acronym for Multicultural Affairs was OMSA, so I'll say that a lot.
Okay.
It's a mouthful. So after OMSA, I decided that I needed to, so at that point I had been working and going to school at VC for 15 years. So I decided I needed to shake things up just a little bit, so I started working at a local for-profit. Just to kind of, again, see if a traditional 4-year institution was the best fit for me or if it was just the best fit because that's all I knew. So I decided to try a for-profit out, discover really quickly that wasn't for me. So for-profits are University of Phoenix, your ECPIs, your Virginia College that's now since closed, but those kind of colleges, they give you those quick technical kind of skills to be able to go out into the workforce. So, but that demographic, I just had more appreciation, I think, for a younger, that 18 to, 22-year-olds that just had a different, the ambition line was just different. Nothing wrong with adult learners. It's just, I think for me, you just get used to what you used to and you like what you like. And so I think for me, I appreciate it. And it was just a lot more flexibility working at a 4-year in terms of events and programs and services. Because again, dealing at a for-profit, these are folks that work. They might be married, they have kids, and so they're, what they need out of there is completely different.
Right.
And I miss being able to connect with people in that way because again, they would come into class, they were leaving. And that was it. I would see them when they needed something. And so I just kind of missed, But then, in the midst of realizing that the for-profit world wasn't for me, but I was still trying to figure out, okay, what is it? That's kind of how Unlocking RVA came to be. I was just kind of sitting around and again, talking about all the things that I was doing.
Right.
My friends or people who follow me on social media just never understood how myself and my friends, how we knew about all the stuff that was going on around town. For me, it was real simple. I read. I don't know what the rest of you guys are doing, but
where were you reading?
I subscribe to everything. I mean, Style Weekly, Richmond Magazine, Richmond.com, Gay RVA. I mean, whatever. Subscribing on any of the large theaters that we have in town. I was about to say Landmark. I won't be disrespectful. Altria. Altria.
Well, some people say Landmark.
But yeah, Altria, Carpenter Theater, any of those things. I'm on your listservs. I want to see what's going on. I'm going to your websites. I'm doing those things. And then on top of that, I hang with an amazing group of creatives. And so in addition to finding things in the city, we're creating things just because we're creating things. Right. And so what started is me just saying, okay, I'm tired of y'all hitting my phone and my email. Let me just put a social media together, just a little count. And really what started is me being super lazy and just using the repost app to say, here's something I found. Here you go, prosper.
Okay.
That's not me. I'm much more cleaner than that. So it's like, no, I'm tired of just reposting. I need to kind of be creative and be more intentful about events that I like and think other people should do. So that's when I started let me look at what's happening. Let me put information, let me put my tone on it in that sense. And then from there, it was inevitable where it is now was going to happen. I didn't think about it that way, but the event planning piece, actually helping other people create and manage their visions and dreams, that's something I've done my entire life.
Right.
And so to wrap it in a business that I can control and kind of manipulate has been actually super awesome.
Okay.
Because all the things, like I said, that I do with the business, it's something that I've done in all my full-time work, but never once did I think about doing it for myself.
And so you've been doing this full-time?
Yeah, so the last year and a half, so after I left Stratford, like I said, I just was like, this could work. And I was realizing the more effort and hours I was putting into it, the more return I would see. So while I was just doing some dabble here and there, because again, it was fun. I had my job. I was fine. The more that I started taking it a little bit more seriously, spending a little bit more hours, found myself leaving work to take meetings or going into a classroom to take phone calls, that I was like, let's give it a try. I was in a position in life where it was possible to do so. Okay. And so that's what I tell any entrepreneur, you don't have to jump right off the bridge, but if it makes sense and you can do it, go for it. And so far, so good. But there's been other things that I've done to balance it out. So, still having that part-time, I guess, kind of income coming in. So in a few weeks, I'm going to start adjunct professoring. I made that word up. Sorry, students. Becoming an adjunct professor at the University of Richmond.
So congratulations. That's so exciting.
It is. So that's one of the things that's always been on the bucket list. And so now, and it was really high on the list the past year and a half. I said it would be awesome if I can part-time teach because I can do my hours during the day and then still focus on unlocking, and there's not really, no one would feel guilty if I didn't have office hours, or,
right.
I can respond to students via email. So I'm hoping that to be a good marrying of my educational kind of background and this kind of entrepreneurial spirit that I'm following at the moment.
So tell us about the different aspects of Unlocking RVA, because I know there's the event planning, which we've been talking about. But there's some other parts because you even advertised for the Mother-to-Be celebration for Life with Chelsi.
Yes, and so around about 3 to 4 parts. So the event planning, like we talked about, is 2 different lanes. So the one lane is the business itself creating signature events. So we do things like hip hop karaoke, Made by RVA, which is a local marketplace for makers. So hair products, clothing, makeup, whatever you might create and decide you want to share. Stuff like that. We do a hip hop dance class called Cocktails and Choreo, which is super awesome. And then just creating other pockets of events at different businesses to kind of help them, with that visibility. And then the other piece is that if you have an event that, you're like, here's what I have, but I don't know half of what to do, then that's when we come in and either we can manage it the day of for you, or do it from start to finish, and literally you just show up and you're like, oh, this is great. Everything I wrote out on my vision board. So I love those. Those are my favorite. Then the other piece is the event promotion. So it's event and business promotion. So if you have a local business that you just want to kind of get some shine to, and again, if you have an event coming up, and we have a lot of folks that just don't have, you might have 1,000 or 2,000 followers, and unfortunately with this algorithm that Instagram is working with, it's hit or miss. You can boost all day long, but it may still not give you that. So I kind of provide that platform to give people visibility on our social media, through our newsletter, and then even, you know, situations where they can actually be at our events and table if it's something that kind of fits in what we have going on. Then the other part is kind of this social media kind of management, which is pretty much kind of ties into the event planning piece. So I have a lot of clients who come to me, and again, maybe it's a weekend where there's a film festival, for example, which is one of the main times we do it. You're just too busy to worry about social media because you're doing this, that, and the third. So we would come in and say, okay, we'll take over. You don't, I mean, we're not going to say it's us, but we post as you to make sure that, you know, the daily pictures are going up. People are getting tagged. There's that, not integration. It's not the word. Yeah, it's a word for that. But then, you know,
we understand
y'all know.
Yes.
So that piece, and then I also manage a couple of different other small businesses who, again, still owners who work full time. And so again, that everyday posting, I'm working. When I get off, I'm not trying to think about it. So that service we offer. And the last piece, I call it entrepreneur assistantship. But I mean, really, it just becomes me being willing and open to have conversations with those that are trying to start businesses, while they're talking with them about, okay, well, how do I get an LLC? And again, I'm not claiming to be an expert. It's just, here's what I did, here's what I go through, here's what didn't work. And kind of having those kind of conversations to help people kind of create just a quick map about where they should be going, at least in that first year or two.
So as I hear more of Unlocking RVA, you know, what I think when I hear that and when I hear your services, Faith, is that you are unlocking potential in people. And you are allowing them to really see their dreams come to fruition, you know, howbeit by the events and the social media. Tell us, and you don't have to name the client, but tell us one of your favorite events that you have either created or planned.
Oh yeah, that's easy. It's okay. So far, it's really probably been the Black Restaurant Experience. Last year was year 2, and that was probably my most integrative kind of year. The first year, most of the girls, young ladies are my friends. So, you know, what you guys need, sure. And then year 2 was more so of an unlocking kind of presence and helping them do the food truck rodeo, which was the kickoff event, which was literally a bunch of food trucks lined up in Abner Clay Park. Black-owned food trucks, which was super awesome. And then the bookend piece was Stick a Fork in It, which was an even larger food festival inside of Main Street Station, which, you know, again, having that space. So I don't know if you've ever been in Main Street, but it's this huge blank space, and then somehow you have to visualize how you're going to make, you know, all these different things happen in this football-sized place. And so all of us were kind of like, but once it was kind of put in place and all the vendors were there, was great. So doing that has probably been the best, because again, I get to then interact with other small business owners, create other additional business opportunities with those businesses in terms of whether bringing events in there, utilizing their food. So it's kind of been like a snowball effect in working with them. It's been never ending, you know, kind of back and forth between all of these amazing restaurant owners, which is great because most of my events do have food. So it's been kind of cool.
I like food.
Right. And so being able to integrate all of them after working with them and talking with them countless hours on the phone. So that's probably by far my favorite. I'm looking for that's going to come up again this March. So I'm actually super excited again to come.
And then I saw 60 Black-owned restaurants.
Yes. And so that's what's so awesome. I mean, it's the restaurants you don't always hear about. Like I said, I live in Henrico, so most of the restaurants are in Richmond, so I don't always get to, you know, because I'm like, oh, that's where? I got to go there. And so I discovered, like, I really fell in love with bologna sandwiches, which is so, shout out to the hood, so great. Like, and so one of them makes, like, the best bologna sandwiches. So now in 2019, I'm like, hey, you're going to bring bologna sandwiches, right? Great. Thank you.
See, I'm still a little scarred from the bologna.
I know, but it's so good. They put like onions. It's really, really good.
So it's not the. It's just not.
No, it's a thick cut. It's not the like Oscar Mayer. So whenever you say someone's having it's the thicker. It's still bologna. Okay. For whatever bologna's supposed to be, but it's thicker sliced bologna, and it's got onions and cheese. It's really good.
Were you making it? I mean,
it's not your thin slice. Like you actually think you're eating like meat. And not what we know bologna.
Okay, because see, I'm glad you explained this to me. Because if someone would have come up to me, I'd have been like, "Child."
Yeah, no, you should ask first. Like you're not talking about us. You talking about the kind like the deli meat, right? Okay, the deli. Okay, yeah, because it's like a bigger. So, right now, Pig and Brew. Yes, that is the name of it. It just opened over Hull Street, so they're one of the ones that have a bologna sandwich. You should try it.
Okay, and where thinking, we're gonna go try that out because my husband and I, we are foodies, so
Yeah.
we love.
It's delicious. So they have that location, and then one over for 9 miles, their original barbecue place, but that's just a walk up. But
okay, well, I have something to take away.
Bologna sandwich.
This.
It's tough, because the hood really could mess you up back in the day, but no.
Yeah, so I don't eat bologna sandwiches. I just started eating hot dogs, and then when we talk about noodles, you know they used to be 5 cents. Remember when it was 5? But
I still, and actually, fun fact, guys. So I take the ramen noodles, like the actual pack, and I actually make fake pho. Because it's easy. You just boil the noodles, and then I have the egg, It's the best cheat code I've ever discovered. I'm like, wait, noodles are noodles. Just boil them out and then.
Okay. I'm some of those scars I'm trying to.
I know the hot dogs though, but you can be fancy with hot dogs. So you can have all beef. You can.
You are absolutely
have to get
right.
like I said, Oscar. I'm sorry, Oscar. This is not an attack on you.
It's not.
But when you think about bologna and hot dogs, Oscar Mayer first. But you guys are great. Great. It's been a great childhood. Because they do. What's the 4 where you have crackers, cheese, the
Lunchables.
Yeah, they're Lunchables, right?
Yeah.
See, Lunchables. I love Lunchables.
See, I love Lunchables. I like the. Have you tried the adult Lunchables?
No, what do they have? What's the juice in the Capri Sun? Because it have to have a Capri Sun.
Oh no, it doesn't have a sun. It's for you to pair with your wine. Oh. Yes, it has the crackers and different types of ham and pepperoni.
I like that. See?
And cheese.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Oscar Mayer.
But it's not made by them.
But still, we're gonna give them.
We're gonna give them. Yeah. Maybe they'll get into the adult industry part.
Yeah, they should though. I still want my Capri Sun though. No jokes. I need all of that and a fruit punch Capri Sun. Thank you.
Okay, well we're giving you ideas, Oscar Mayer. Here we go. So something else I saw was that you sit on a few boards. So you are on Art 180, Theater Lab.
Yes.
One of the things that's important to me is for us to, as women, as we're sharing our conversations, is to expose other women to opportunities and to a new way to serve their community. Tell us about why these boards and how you became a member of the boards for any person who wants to be a member.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what you said. I think we all have a responsibility to pull other people in. I often say, I have people coming to me all the time, well, why didn't I see you do X, Y, Z? My response is usually, well, if you were in the room, why didn't you raise my hand for X, Y, and Z? Because if you know about it, obviously you were present when they were deciding. So, and it's not to make them feel bad. It's just to say, if there's an opportunity, don't assume that you think I'm busy or that. Try it out. And so with both boards, that's essentially how it happened. Somebody else was like, I think I know a person, and then made the connection with whoever was, responsible for picking board members. And from there, if it was a fit, it worked. Great. Art 180 is definitely how that happened. And just in general, Art 180 is just a great program to help our youth that don't always get that arts and culture they need to when they're in school. I think we're seeing ever now more than ever just that decrease, all the things that we were exposed to in school, don't think they get, started with cursive and now, we're actually questioning whether they should have music, music programs. And I think that's kind of mind blowing because that's, playing choir chimes in elementary school and being in the choir and playing piano, those are all things that kind of helped shape me when I was younger. So just seeing these youth and what they create is just super awesome. So the leg that I kind of sit on is the Young Professionals Board. And so again, it's folks in that 20 to 30 kind of range that again, and try to get people our age to support these young kids and help them in any way we can, whether that's through mentorship or just showing up for their shows that they may have around town. Theater Lab came about because of Unlocking RVA. So the creative director there, DJ Gray, pretty much I've been working with him because they do some amazing plays out of the basement. And so after working with him for the last 2 years in terms of promoting the shows, giving away tickets, attending the shows, he was just like, listen, we need some more women of color with love, if you would, be willing to sit on the board. And it was pretty easy answer for me because, again, that arts piece. So I like the way that they both kind of fit together for right now. I just think if folks want to be involved in stuff like that, just be present. I think that's the number one way you get anywhere in life is to be present. Like, people know me because I'm sitting in the room. I may not talk to you. I may sit in the corner. But I'm there.
Right.
I'm shaking hands, and I might just be in the corner sipping tea, but I'm present. You know, even when I'm tired, I'm present. People always ask me, when do I sleep? I'm like, I might be asleep right now, but I'm here. I'm present. But I think that's important because people get too familiar with you, and that's how they remember you. They can't remember you if you're sitting in your house. They can't remember you if you just, again, sat in the corner and didn't say anything. So yes, I'm loud. Yes, I'm goofy. I'm all those things, but they've helped me.
Right.
So
what are some keys about being in the boardroom?
Mm-hmm. Never be, afraid to speaking your mind. We are in a very sensitive state.
Mm-hmm.
In America. Not America. We're in a very sensitive state. And so I think people are so fearful to say things for fear of hurting someone's feelings or making someone feel some type of way. But I think sometimes you have to live in your own truth. But the flip side is that you don't always have to say something. You can let it marinate. You can let it sit. Sometimes it's okay. And that's okay. You don't have to be the voice of reason every single time, but you should have a voice.
Right.
And so that's something I learned very early on because I usually, at least at VCU, I was normally the youngest person in the room. So when you have the youngest person in the room, then probably the one of handful of person of color in the room, then woman. So it's all the different layers.
Right.
It was always something I had to fight with. Am I this, stereotype? Am I this stereotype? What am I going to be today? And, I got, sometimes not punished. That's not the right word. But, people generally, Faith is X, Y, Z. I'm like, well, here I am. I'm so sorry. And if that's going to stop me from whatever it is you might think whatever my trajectory is, I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I know that I spoke up for myself. I spoke up for the students or whomever, that particular audience was for me at that moment.
And I think that's key, though, because as you're talking about just in the climate of America and the need, and I know I've been guilty of this, of political correctness. My background is in politics, and now I'm married to a pastor, and so it's like the two things you don't talk about, at the dining room table, but now it's like my life. And what I've come to this point of is that, and you said it, I have a voice, and I have to use my voice, and I can't be concerned if, this board's not going to want me, or this group's not going to want me.
And you have it really hard. I always feel bad for any pastor's wife who, being in the church is one thing, but being married to the church, I always feel for you guys. I have so many women in my life that are, again, the pastor's wife, and there's so much more than that. They were so much more than that before, but I get it. It's a facade, especially if you good old Baptist, you gotta keep this, and I feel bad because they want to go out, they want to have a glass of wine with this. There's nothing wrong with it, but you can see that they're like, and the moment you hear that, hey, First Lady, it's like this shutdown. It's like, I'm so sorry. So listen, okay, because
But but in that though, I appreciate you sharing that though, and you using your voice, because I can only imagine the countless number of students that have been positively affected at VCU because Faith said, you know what, they're gonna talk about me regardless.
Yes.
And so I might as well do good with what I have.
And one of the things your guests will probably say, your guests you'll have shortly, but did you die? Because that's like, that's the bigger thing. At the end of the day, did you die? Like at the end of the day, did you die? Was it, and that's how, that's her mantra. And then mine is pretty much, I can't change it. Whatever's happening right now can't be changed. So, okay. What's next?
All right, ladies, use your voice.
Yeah, use your voice.
Use your voice.
You won't die. Don't worry about people judge people every day. You could be judged today for something you said. Tomorrow was because your curl pattern didn't matter. We get judged by so much stupid stuff. So much dumb stuff as women. I just,
It's I went to your website. You, I want to be like you. You've hosted, emceed all these events, hosted all these. You hosted the National Kidney Foundation.
Yeah, that was fun.
You were the commencement speaker at Fortis.
Yes.
You're a public speaker. How did that come about in a way where people are knocking on your door for you to be at their event?
Again, I'm loud. I think that's step one. Be loud. I think because of my personality, I've always been pushed. Faith,
Okay.
you do it. Well, I gotta be, but and I get it because I'm loud. Again, I'm goofy. So when I do the most professional of speeches, so even with Fortis, that should have not been any room for a joke. But I created jokes because like there was one kid, he just he was just doing a little bit too much in the front row, and I don't know, I just found myself, so you okay today? Like, and everyone was like, is she talking to him? I said I am, because he was being inappropriate, because I don't know what comment I made, but he was just like, I didn't like it. It just seemed like a little bit sexual in nature. I didn't like it, so I called him out on it. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. So everyone was dying laughing. I'm like, hey, if you try to be serious, and it's just impossible.
It was his graduation.
It was. I mean, he shouldn't have did that. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, we'll write it in the comments. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I didn't like it. It gave us such whatever. It stood out. But yeah, even that, even quoting Maxine Waters, like they, again, it's little stuff, but I think that's pretty much what it came about, because I'm relatable, I'm personable, and again, I'm present. So there's a knowledge base, because we know she can speak on this because we've seen her in these spaces, in these rooms, in these elements, and so she can motivate someone because she's lived through it. And a lot of those students at Fortis, for example, again, most of them are in or want to be in fields that require almost that entrepreneurial spirit. So again, you want to be a massage therapist, you want to be HVAC, all those things about getting clients, and even if you are attached to a company, no one has to go to you. I don't have to request Chelsi to be my massage therapist. I can request Sarah. It doesn't have to be you. So what are you doing to kind of build that up? So that's why I think that was important. But yeah, it's probably because I'm loud, and most of the time I just, if someone tells me to do it, normally it doesn't take much. I roll my eyes and do a bunch, but I end up doing it anyway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In that, what I like, and I think is a nugget for ladies to take away is, and it's kind of been a thread through our conversation, is the importance of being involved and present, and how that presents opportunities versus just trying to, from our conversation today and from what I know about you, all of these pieces of your journey have come about from you being involved, not you just saying, I want to do this and blow up and be this.
But even saying it is important. That's something I've always taught all of my students and all of my friends that are struggling with whatever or want to aspire to be whatever. If you keep it to yourself, how's anyone supposed to help you? So you can talk to me till you're blue in the face, but what about, I gotta tell people, it's the people on the airplane, it's the people at the bars, it's, it just, if there's a lane to bring it up. You don't know who's listening. You don't know who that person is and what they're capable of, who they can connect you with. And again, what you thought was nothing, 2 weeks later, a month later, a year, is something. Right. Because you took that time. Like, who cares that you guys weren't talking about you wanted to be a hairstylist? So what? I don't care. Find a way to weave it in. And pun intended. You see how I did that? Weave hair? Okay. So, figure out a way. And so that's exactly what happened with the University of Richmond. I did a documentary called Don't Touch My Hair. And the director, Chaz, is a U of R grad. They reached out to him to actually do the course, but he was unavailable because he's in a doctoral program at BCU. And so because, again, I had been from day one, always people, what do you want to do? What, I want to be an adjunct professor. Like, that was in a row. He called me. He was like, hey, do you have time springs? Yes, I do. Who do I need to email? And so he bridged the gap, and voila, a month later, here we are. Because again, I talked about that. I mean, just because I have a doctorate in education doesn't mean I want to teach. Because technically, my doctorate is for me to work in higher education administration. So it's to do what I've been doing, student activities, leadership, development, those kind of things. Not to teach. I can, but that's been a personal aspiration. So talk about it. Don't ever be, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Just, you do. Who cares? Baby shower, talk about it all day. Vlog, video, just talk about it.
Just talk about it.
Talk about it. You should check out my YouTube page. You should go on my Facebook. I don't know. Like I said, that's why I love this button. I wear this button whenever I can because, again, I sometimes forget I have it.
I mean, I love it. I think it's great.
And people just talk, what's that? Oh, yeah, because I forgot I have it. So, again, it's me speaking without having to speak. So the same thing with wearing your own brand or, if you do makeup, your makeup better be on point every time I see you. I know it's hard. It's a tough spill. But if that's your... Because you're your best billboard. If you do your hair, I bet not never see your hair in disarray. Same thing with my own style. So I'm like, yes, because if your hair is, I wouldn't want you touching me that day. Because, again, it's about what you present. It's like if I'm teaching public speaking, but I suck at public speaking. Like, that wouldn't make any sense.
You just... You're just speaking all these truths. So I read that
Yes.
your superpower, your secret superpower is making people laugh.
See? Yeah, I've done it all the time. We have documentation of that right
This is
now.
true.
Yeah, like I said, it can be seen as good or bad of a superpower. Because again, sometimes when I should be serious, I'm like, why? It's no fun in that. Like I don't, even my friends will tell you, even the most serious moment, I'm just like, but did you die? Like, like what really happened? And so that's just me. I think, I don't know if it's developed because it was a defense mechanism. Although again, for me, I don't really know what I was defending. Or again, military brat. So moving around a lot, it's possibly how I developed making friends because I make you laugh and make my friend. Could be a whole ton of reasons. Maybe I should go sit down in front of a therapist to really figure it out. But the other 50% is that I just, being sad is not a cool thing. I just, it weighs on you. It makes you happy. And if I can give someone just a little bit of laughter just to kind of get through whatever hump.
Bring happiness to the day.
I'm okay with that.
So 2015 is when you got your doctoral in education.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you want your doctoral degree?
So, for me, once I discovered that, mass communications was undergrad. My dream was to be on TV. I was going to be...
Girl, you on my TV.
Hey, y'all. I wanted to be, but it was really specific. I wanted to be on BET. I was going to host Teen Summit. I don't know how old y'all are out there, but Teen Summit was the best show BET ever had. Everyone on Teen Summit went to Howard, and that was the goal. But then my mother cried, and so VCU is where I ended up. But I still did mass comm, and I said, it's okay. I'm going to get an internship. I'm going to do all these things, and I'm going to get on BET. I'm going to figure it out. But then Viacom, who owns MTV, VH1, all that stuff, they bought BET and moved all of their headquarters to New York. Going home was never an option for me. I never wanted to go back to New York. I was A-okay. I liked this little bit of city and rock and roll. So those TV dreams, they were shattered just because I was being lazy, I guess. I was like, I don't want to go to New York and break down barriers. It was dumb. So switching to education, once I got my master's, okay, this is it. This is the train, because now degree 2, that's where we're not wasting money now. We got to be here. So once I did that, I discovered I really enjoyed higher education. I really enjoyed being able to take that event planning and those, those fun pieces, but also I used to call it edutainment. So it was educational, but it was fun. So you were learning something, but you didn't know you were learning something until afterwards. So I said, okay. So then once like I said, it was in OMSA, I got promoted to interim director, and I said, okay, well, if I secure this job, after this, most of the jobs require a doctorate. So I might also go ahead and knock it out while I can, and I still have the energy to do so. And so that's pretty much how it came about, as a need to say, there's a lot of things you can say that I don't have, but this degree, which is the easiest thing for me to obtain at this moment, will not be one of those. So I may have stuff to work on, because again, I'm young. So I started my program, I think I was 30 before I was a director. Yeah, I was 29 by the time I became a director. So you think about that, and then me enter. So I was 33 when I graduated. So it's just like, I have age again, so I can't compete with a 50, 60-year-old. I really can't.
Right.
But at least I have this degree, because that 60-year-old may not have a degree. So that's really why I kind of was like, okay, I need it, but also it can give me a little bit of a leg up for me lacking this 3 or 4 page resume, because for VCU, when I was in a department, I was there. I was committed, and I worked for extended periods of time and just made special assignments for myself to kind of give me some more. But in general, in the higher education world, they do look for that longer kind of rap sheet, which I was kind of missing just a touch of. So that was the bigger reason for it. And then again, teaching, which was always a passion. In order to teach, most of the time you can't teach on your level. If that makes sense. So as a if you have a bachelor's, there's no one you could teach besides. You have to go lower. So I'll be able to teach like in a community college, but not master's or doctoral. I couldn't teach those students. So to get to the top, to be able to teach below. That makes sense.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So a master's student can't teach a doctoral program or class or whatever. So that also kind of helped just get to the top, and then you're just there. Nothing else you can do after that.
Faith, professor, businesswoman, event planner, public speaker. What are your top nuggets for women who want to follow a journey like yours?
well, we talked about this. So speaking up for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and what it is you need. And that includes speaking up for yourself, but also saying when you need help. There's nothing wrong. I think we're geared to say, we can do it. You don't have to do it all. Someone can help you and it's okay. And it doesn't make you less than because you ask for help. So I think, speaking up for yourself, both in standing up for you and then asking for help when you need it, I think is great. Not being afraid to collaborate. I think there are so many times where we're constantly fighting with one another, not physically, but she does hair and I don't know why I keep going back to hair. I don't know what's happening with me today.
I'm loving the color.
Girl, listen. Thank you. Instagram. This is all Instagram's fault. So we're going to take a huge laugh because I just love this stuff. So the color is hair paint. This is not permanent.
Is it the stuff you put in? I saw that the other day.
Instagram is the devil. So this is keeping a popular page. So I was just scrolling and this girl, the video was on silent. I saw her go into this jar and then she went like this. And
it was like purple or blue. She did.
Wait a minute. And then I clicked on it, went to the website. I said, wait, so this washes out? Awesome. Because essentially my hair, I can go like to a high blonde, but it wasn't, I tried purple. None of those colors were taking because I don't know. Well, I probably need to bleach, but I wasn't doing that. So I was like, I could be purple. I could be pink. I could be whatever colors. So the first batch I bought was purple and blue. So this is like a purple and blue. Then I ended up seeing like these curly extensions. Oh, I need those too. Instagram, devil. So I just like kind of colored the clip-ins with the blue stuff and then did my hair purple and then it's all accidents. People don't believe. People think that I'm like this. No, it's accidents. I just think in my mind, well, maybe this will work. And then you have to own it. Like, my hair you might be able to see where my hair starts and then. So yeah, maybe that's why I keep going back to hair because I really enjoy what I did yesterday.
I like it, and then the bun is like. Well, purple's my favorite, so the purple stood.
And it's awesome because it's really like a chemistry set. Because on my real hair, the purple ends up going super high. Okay. Because I'm blonde and my real hair, but my color is purple. It's blonde, so the purple reacts and it goes super high. Versus, as you can see here, it's dark, which is how it looks in the jar because the clip-ins are dark brown, so that's kind of how it interacts. So I just like seeing what like a kid. So yeah, hair paint wax, but tell them to send her a check because okay. Anyway, so yes, fighting with one another, not literally, but if you guys do similar kind of things, then people always feel like they have to compete or that person is competition when they're never going to do it like you. Oh. I think people get so fearful over competition, but everyone's different. There's a great meme. When it first came out, all of my friends sent it to me because I constantly talk about this position, but like the bread aisle, it's like mad different types of bread on the aisle, different companies, different types, and no one complains. You don't see, Wonder maybe took a hit, but you still have different things. People still know you can go to the bakery and get some fresh bread, but it's different strokes for different folks. You might want honey wheat, you might want wheat, you might want white bread, you might not want crust. It just depends on how that person presents it to you. And so there's tons of event planners, there's tons of event promoters, there's tons of people who can do speeches, whatever. But again, they're not going to do it like me, and that's the confidence that you have to kind of walk with through life is that, and it's okay to collaborate. Like, just because they do the same thing, why can't you do an event together? So, and Made by RVA is the greatest example of that. Me and Kelly, oftentimes we're moving through life, in sometimes different rates, but we can come together and do an event, and it's okay. Like, we both have similar interests. Why not give it a whirl? There's respect, there's admiration, and we're going to do what's best for both of our brands. And sometimes that's like the best type of advertisement you can ever do. So competition is there. Don't worry about that. Just focus on how you want to do it. Everyone is not your customer, and that's okay. Everyone's not your customer. Nothing wrong with that. So that's that. And then the final piece will probably just to say not to be afraid to brag on yourself. I think we're taught to be modest. Mm-hmm. And I think there's levels. There's sometimes where it's like, okay, you can be quiet. We need to know that. But there's other times, no, where you need to flex or you need to announce. So again, I announced that I was going to be adjunct professor because again, me announcing that could be, oh, she could do that word. Maybe because you don't know who looked at that. You don't know who shared that. Well, I guess you can't, who said, look what Faith's doing. And again, months from now, it's like, hey, I saw you was teaching here. Are you able to? You just don't know. So I think you can flex, but not, it's an awareness and not necessarily, ha, 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 ha. Look what I'm doing. Look what I have. you know. So it's different between showing someone your new Gucci bag and showing someone, I don't know what the opposite would be. Oh, I guess, you know, I have a new blog, a new episode up, you know, like on your personal stuff, which is something that I often try to balance, to find balance. Bragging on what one is doing on the other platform, because there's so many different things. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Here's my last question. Social media. So for me, you're a social media guru. You handle all these other accounts. What's like one of your pet peeves on social media that could help a budding entrepreneur, public speaker out there? That they just don't know that they're doing it wrong.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So I think visuals are everything. We're a very visual society. So you can write a caption all day. The odds of someone reading that caption, a little bit small, because they're looking at the picture, especially on Instagram. Facebook, a little bit different. People are generally
different audience as well.
But I think right now the hot place to kind of market and be is Instagram. And I think for that it has to be fluidity. Yes. So your page has, I mean, that one thumbnail, that might be the only shot you got. So it needs to be visually, you know, pleasing. Can you read it? Does it have time, date? You know, kind of making sure all your dots are crossed and everything. Are your links working? So it's kind of like this whole thing. What's in your bio? So I have a lot of people who reach out to me and want to promote and want to drive ticket sales. Here's the thing. Where we drop, it's not in your bio. Where is someone supposed to find it? You know, even the most simplistic things. Is there Eventbrite? Can you put it in your bio? What we're doing, okay, well, just to be clear, that's fine if you don't change it, but realize you're not going to get your bang for your buck, because once I post it and people click on your page, where do they go? So I think that's major, to make sure all those links are up to date, everything is, and communicate. You know, I've had people who have canceled events and don't say anything, and I'm just like, well, it would have been helpful, because now people are like, well, you posted this event, but it's gone. Like, oh, well, and then you never, you know. So just making sure all your T's are crossed, I's are dotted in terms of that.
They should have just brought you in to help plan the event from the beginning.
That could be it. But no, but sometimes, but Richmond is finicky though. So I don't, I know. Anytime anyone cancels it, I'm like, well, at least you knew your audience, because you could have went in there and just been looking at your friend, whoever came to support you, because you just never know what could have happened. But, you know, I think that's very important, that visual look, because a lot of times I'll ask to see a flyer first. If it's not attached, let me see what you got, because
before you take the money?
Because I rather give you that feedback, and either you tell me no or you don't. Because there's been times where I know for a fact what I'm looking at is not going to be engaging to anyone else. So I feel like I'm just robbing you. I'm taking your money and posting something, one, doesn't really fit with what I got going on. So that's also a two-part piece. I have to worry about your brand, but also my brand. Because my brand, like I said, I'm not posting the free for 11. You'll never see any club promotion, which nothing's wrong with that. I mean, go to the club, have fun, but that's not what my brand is. For those that are okay with being home by 1 a.m. If you're okay with that, Unlocking RVA is for you, because I'm in the house. So, but free for 11, all those different flyers, those are not going to be on the space. So I like to see what you're talking about, what you got, and also edit it. I mean, some people do like the what do we just have? It was the X-rated paint party where I think they painted the lower region of the male, which was fine. Which was fine. Hey, listen, that is a thing. It is actually a thing. Like, the males are naked, and you...
Do you know the males?
No, these are supposed to be models. And I use that because it ain't models, but, you know, whatever. And, yeah, they, like you would in a traditional art class, but it's a sip and paint is what it is. But what you're painting is that region. And it's funny because when you click on the Instagram, they actually show you...
we got it first of all. You telling me?
Yes. I'll find you the Instagram so you look at it.
People go to a paint class and paint.
It's not. Don't think about it as a class. But paint, and then so the models, and then eventually they walk around. So if you need a closer look, but the paintings never look like what I'm pretty sure the genitalia looks like. So it's kind of funny because it's like, so again, somebody could be interested in that. But the flyer, I was like, okay, so I just need you to put, because you can see the V. I call it the V. So can you just raise just a little bit? Because again, people could be wherever. That's all, because when they come to your page, they should know what to expect. So you do and show whatever you want. My page, I just need you to look at that. So I do ask to look at the flyers before, if it's not attached, just to kind of see what you got going. And I click. When you email me, I look to just let me click on this event. Okay, she has that. Cool. Because I don't want anyone asking. And it's also the kind of, I don't want nobody asking me no questions. Like, y'all, I tag. Look, click. Go. Or I'll re-add the person. But I look at everyone's stuff to see what they have going on.
No,
What does that look
though.
like? What does your social media look like? Because again, you're wasting your money if you pay me and then there's nothing there.
So I thought that was my last question.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
But I have another question. Okay, so I just learned about this X-ray paint class.
Listen, it's funny. I'm for real. You should probably you ain't gotta advertise for them either. I'm gonna show you the Instagram.
Here, so that is something that's new to me, and I'm not judging. That's not my business. That's not my business.
But I'm good. I don't want to draw that.
What's another event that you've promoted that is kind of out the box like that?
I really think that's the most out the box one. Like, I mean, seriously, I can't think of.
How much do you pay? Is it like $100
to promote?
No, to go to the class.
It's like the normal $40 because again, with those you bring your own wine. It's just like wine and design. It's a paint, and so you have trap and paint, you have R&B. I mean, all this is just naked paint naked. I forgot what it was, but that has to be the most outrageous one that I was like, yo. And as I found the social media, I said, this is a thing. Like, this is a movement. We missed it, and it came to Richmond, and I was just like, but that is the most. I'm really sitting here trying to think, but there hasn't been anything crazy that people. That one was the most one. I was like, okay. And again, the flyer itself, it wasn't even trashy. I just needed that, just again, because I understood why they had the top part exposed, because again, but I was like, that's it. Just raise it. But I understood it. But it wasn't trashy. It was a nice looking young man, and his face was actually cut off. So it was a nice flyer. So that's why I didn't mind posting it. Like the comments was like, "What?" I'm like, "Hey, you clicked on it."
Oh, so I'm not the only one who didn't pay her.
Because again, you wouldn't. Because again, that's something that means you think about an art class, like an actual when you're in school, or like I guess taking a community. I don't know. But you wouldn't expect you to be able to go to a paint class, and then here's a naked male, and they're just walking around. They take pictures of people like on the Instagram. The girls are like smiling with them. I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know. Because then, get a little frisky. I know. Yeah. Then they have their socks on, but that's a whole other comedy thing. I'm like, why do you have your socks on? You're just supposed to. But that's it. But the focus of the painting is that area. You don't see no face. It's just, that's what you're supposed to paint. Which is horrible because people's interpretations, that's what makes it funny. Because, like, that's what you saw? Yeah.
Well, I know.
There's nothing to get hot about it.
It's just so different.
Welcome to 2019. But yeah.
It's Faith. We've had a good time.
Yes.
I have enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you.
And learning more and just the tips. I mean, when you're talking about social media, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure, look at my stuff, because we're going through a rebranding and things. And so, I'm hopeful that the ladies who watched have learned, but I've learned, I have enjoyed it. So
thank you.
Tell people how they can find you.
Okay. So personally, with Instagram, that's what it's called. It's Bet on Faith. So when you look at it, it's funny. People always think it says Beton, which if you read it fast, because it's BETONFAITH. Someone's like, I thought it was Bet on this whole time. No, it's Bet on Faith. Like, whatever. Bet on Faith. And then Unlocking RVA is on everything. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. UnlockingRVA.com. You can sign up for the newsletter, and every month I'll send you events that I have going on, and then some other promoted events that are happening around town. And then just check us out. Hit the follow button.
Yes, listen. Follow Faith Personal Unlocking RVA if you're in the Richmond area, or maybe if you're not. Check out Faith for social media, for event planning. I love supporting other women. So grateful to have her here today on Chats with Chelsi. So stay tuned for the next episode. Have a great day.